Hello everyone and welcome back to 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Today we have an exciting thing ahead of us because at the end of last session we unlocked, finally, Renya Gouto, or Goto. I'm sure hopefully someone will pronounce it in-game so we will know the correct pronunciation. But yeah, this is the 13th and final member of the team. The one we've been waiting a long time to unlock. And let's jump in. Final battle a few weeks earlier.
What do you think you're doing, Goto-kun?
Goto, there we go.
I believe I told you using the gate is prohibited.
You may have done.
Tell me, Miss Morimura, is history one of your better subjects? I have some theories myself. I'd like to know if they're accurate. For example, the true location of the lost nation of Yamataikoku. And the truth behind the Honnouji incident. How Oda Nobunaga really died. Unfortunately, my paper in middle school was bound to the failures of our historians. In theory, I could update it into a full report. In theory, at least. A shame that the gates are locked to specific points in time.
What are you really working towards?
It's simple. I want to know the truth.
Oh yeah? The truth about what?
Are you alright? This isn't like you.
That implies an understanding of what is like me. Or at least, that you believe you understand me.
That's not the point. You need to stop using the gate. I'm going to seal this place off.
Oh, I doubt he's going to be a fan of that.
Sounds like you've got something to hide.
I don't know what you're...
Wait. Perhaps a personal notebook seems a bit archaic, but it does present certain advantages. Digitized data can be altered, fabricated, falsified. No intelligent person should trust it. But you already know that, don't you?
You are acting strange, after all.
I hardly think you're in a position to talk. If anyone's changed, it's you. I can only wonder why.
Oh yeah, changed
What
how?
are you?
Miss Morimura, my question is, who exactly are you?
Morimura shortly after meeting. 2104.
So, did the scout unit have anything for us?
Well, the surface is a total loss. The automated factories are all running at full capacity.
They're mass-producing Kaijuu.
Is it just me, or does Renya look very, very similar to Tetsuya Ida? I wonder. I don't think he can be him, because we've seen what's his face? Names are escaping me. The person who we know is a young Tetsuya Ida, Shu Amaguchi. We've seen him in an older form in this very room, and he didn't look like Renya. But just next to each other, they're like similar height. They both wear the glasses. Their nose is pretty much the same. Tetsuya's is just like a little bit more protruding. Face shape, the way the chin curves down, is very similar. It is very similar. Even the way they stand, like with the hand in the pocket and the hand behind him, it's sort of the same position. It's probably nothing. I'm probably reading way too much into that, but it does just feel a little bit like they might be. Somehow, I don't know.
Hey, getting used to everything?
The technology itself isn't so different from 40 years ago. The real surprise was finding that it's all been integrated into one unified system.
You sure don't seem like someone from your time.
How are things looking?
About like we expected.
Naturally.
All the nuclear plants are stable. Seems like it's the same for other countries too.
Defensive measures. They want to ensure nothing interrupts production.
Automated factory has been added to the thought cloud.
You sure don't seem like someone from your...
So, these factories, are they particularly large?
It's more about how they got totally automated. That was back in 2080. They started functioning as part of a network instead of individual units.
A worldwide network comprising 1.2 billion factories. All fully integrated and synchronized. Based on a client's request, the computer designs a blueprint. From there on, everything is fully automated. Assembly, production, even cost-effective ordering of parts. The human element was no longer necessary for those processes.
So it's a manufactory that can mass-produce anything on a global scale.
They all function as part of a unified global manufacturing network. By its protocols, all 1.2 billion factories worldwide remain in automatic, perpetual production. And their sole output are these mechanized Kaijuu, which we know as the D-Forces.
That sounds, not great.
We checked on the plants in Kolkata and Chennai.
Since they're the largest plants of this era and all.
Their production rate has doubled over the last 3 days.
Uh-oh.
Just like last time. The timing matches up too.
Not long now. They'll make their move soon.
Morimura-san, regarding my home time, that is, the year 2064, you're certain we'll face a similar attack?
We don't have long until they appear in 2064. That much we know. It'll be just like last time.
No, not quite. This time, we have the Sentinels.
True.
Okay.
Anything on your end?
Loosely speaking.
We managed a partial data dump from the underground mainframe. Gouto-kun?
It's an archived news report concerning a certain scandal. More important, though, is its date of recording.
When's the data from?
The year 2188. In other words, far in the future. Even more so than our current temporal position, 2104.
Let's see it.
Future scandal added to the thought cloud. How do I show it to you? Oh.
Before dawn on the 20th, 8 Newman Inc. executives were taken into police custody. Charged with human trafficking and illegal cloning, their established motive was to tamper with human memories. Authorities consider this an organized effort and are pursuing further charges. Mind-hacking crimes have been on the rise in recent years. By exploiting nanomachines such as interlocutors, malefactors can overwrite stored memory information in cerebral synapses. This technique has recently been used to enable other associated offenses. These arrests come after a string of similar cases, including culprits criminally downloading memories onto another body. Evidence suggests these are attempts at a kind of technological reincarnation. And we've already seen more than 460 arrests connected to this practice.
Isn't that like what Okino does?
A log concerning the scandal involving Newman Inc. The report is dated 2188. Some of their executives were taken into police custody. The crime in question was apparently attempting to use nanotechnology to, in theory, take over physical bodies.
I didn't know it was even possible to download memories.
The crime apparently occurred in June of 2188.
Ida-kun.
That's not all. Let him finish.
Regarding this Newman, I found one more log that could be relevant. This report is from March, about 3 months prior to the other log.
Future merger.
Newman Inc., the tech giant known for interlocutors, has been acquired by Shikishima through a takeover bid.
Uh-oh.
Shikishima's CEO had this to say.
Nanotechnology has made leaps and bounds over the 22nd century. Now, even the human body can operate with all the power of a supercomputer. Interlocutors have paved the way for humanity's next step in evolution.
Is that someone we know, do we reckon?
For any one of us, all it takes is a thought. And we can have the world itself at our fingertips.
It could be. Could be anyone.
With the brilliant minds at Newman driving our nanotech business, we look forward to a brighter future for Shikishima and all our affiliates.
With this acquisition, Shikishima now sits among the top 3 in global market share of interlocutors.
3 months prior to the Newman Inc. incident, Newman was acquired by the conglomerate Shikishima. With these interlocutors, apparently some kind of nanomachine information technology, they've become one of the world's top megacorps.
They kept talking about those interlocutors. You think that's the nanomachines inside our own bodies?
Most likely.
So Shikishima's at the heart of this, too. At least we know we weren't wrong. This all began in the future after all. Still, 2188. 2104 is the furthest we can shift into the future.
Oh?
It's a shame, but I don't think we can verify this ourselves.
I wonder why.
I think we should drop this lead for now. Better to focus on protecting Gouto-kun's hometown instead.
Maybe so. We're almost out of time, so we'll need to move quickly. Best to return to the school in the year 2064. We'll need the cooperation of the other 2 compatibles.
Gouto-kun, we should focus on putting the Sentinels through the combat sims. I hope you can join me.
Sure.
I wonder why that's the furthest forward they can go. Final battle a few weeks earlier, destroyed
My
city.
apologies, Miss Morimura. Making arrangements in 1985 proved somewhat difficult. I'm sorry we've had to remain here the past few days.
Not much we can do if it's an emergency. I have to ask. Was it absolutely necessary to dress me up like this?
Does it bother you? Considering the age you appear, well, it struck me as the most inconspicuous choice.
Huh. Considering the age you appear. She looks super young, but she was talking like she knew what was going on and was understanding it all. So is this maybe future Morimura's memories being put in a kid's body? Her own kid's body, maybe, somehow? I don't know. Or is it an android? Huh.
You're not having trouble walking, are you, Miss Morimura?
You should probably just call me Chihiro. Otherwise, we'll seem suspicious in public.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Okay, Chihiro. San.
Better drop the san, too.
Okay, so it's definitely an adult Morimura in there.
Honestly, I'm surprised you were able to find me at all.
A certain data log helped. I found records that your mind had been transferred into the young child standing before me.
And confirmation.
This body is a juvenile clone of me.
A clone,
I ran
okay.
an experiment to see if I could restore my compatibility.
Oh
It
shit.
turned out to be a failure.
So,
That's why I sealed my memories.
So not only do we have android versions of people, we have clone versions of people?
I guess the log from that experiment got preserved.
This compatibility, that'd be the ability to control the gate and the Sentinels?
You need compatibility to control the mainframe. I was once compatible myself. But after everything got rewound, I lost that power. Maybe it's hard for you to see how crucial that ability is. But you'll understand soon enough.
Huh. What does that mean? After we rewound, she lost that power.
This refers to the humans who can control the UFO's mainframe. Those compatible have nanomachines implanted in their bodies.
Huh.
What's going on with my actual body?
She's acting like a completely different person. My theory is that someone's taken control of her.
You're saying she got mind hacked?
She's clearly behaving very differently, at least. It seems like she's working against the Sentinel project. It's like she's been influenced by 426.
Huh.
Or the man himself may just be wearing her face.
That certainly explains why you woke me up. Not much to go on, though. Either way, we'll have to do some more investigation. I can see it's been quite a while since my memories were sealed. 5 whole years. And now 4 sectors have gone dark. Talk about a rude awakening. First, you'd better catch me up on major developments in the last 5 years.
Catch me up too.
Easy enough. Hardly comfortable surroundings for a briefing, though. I'll explain over in 1985.
Don't you dare to be continued me, you motherfucker. Okay, a few more weeks earlier. Okay, so we're not actually going to get that explanation. We're going
That should do
earlier.
it for preparations.
We're in the UFO thing.
Now, let's see if the biometric authentication works. Did it go through?
I'll take that as a yes.
Looks like that got me past the initial barrier, at least. Now, with Miss Morimura's ID, I should be able to get into her logs. Found it. One of the logs she left behind.
Today's date is March 2nd, 2100. Well, I guess there's no point in putting a date to these logs. They've probably got 4 years left until the invasion begins. I ran an experiment on my clone. I wanted to see if I could make her more compatible. I had more than enough data stored in Sector 0. She would have had all my memories. However, I could not establish compatibility in the clone. No more than I could in myself. Maybe there really is no way we can survive this. Not even Ida-kun knows about this experiment. I've kept this attempt secret from everyone. The memories I implanted in the clone have been sealed. I left her in 1940 under the Miura family's care. She'll be able to grow up as her own person. Someone separate from me.
Huh.
Until they invade, at least.
Huh. Okay. Okay, that is very interesting then. So they're not the same person. What does that mean? What is... Ooh. Ooh, okay. That is very interesting. Because... Okay, so the 1940 Chihaya that we've seen is a clone of the original Morimura, but the original Morimura can control the time travel gates, and the clone cannot. She sealed the memories, which I assume means, like, locked them away in a part of the brain that the kid can't access or something? Like, I assume the kid, after being sealed, does not know what's going on? And then she left her in 1940s to grow up as a separate person from the Morimura we know. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Because yeah, you know, I hadn't actually twigged. I hadn't put the dates together right, but given that we knew that Iori is... Well, I guess if I thought about it, I'd probably just assume there was some time travel shenanigans going on. I was thinking, because, like, if child version was in the 40s and Iori version is in the 80s, obviously that's like a 40-year difference, but yeah, no, I must have just thought there was some time travel shenanigans going on. But that means that the clone version could grow up to be someone else. Or maybe the clone version grows up to be Nurse Chihaya? Well, that's not... I don't know, she doesn't look 40, but... time travel, whatever, who knows. But, that is really interesting, because... she could technically grow up to be anyone else, because... I mean, she'll most likely look the same, so maybe... black-clad version of her is not the same as Nurse version of her, potentially. Oh, I'm so curious. I'm so curious. This game just keeps throwing new twists, you know? It's mad.
That methodology sounds familiar. Was she basing this project off of those memory overriding crime reports? All in an effort to achieve compatibility? So compatibility isn't just a matter of differences in the nanomachines. There's more. This file looks like the last thing recorded.
Oh boy.
Kida-kun didn't make it back either. The remaining Sentinels are infected. No good to us. We're running out of options. We'll have to resort to Operation Aegis. If we go that route, we'll be risking the future of humanity itself. How do I make the call on a decision like that? But I don't know how else he and I can survive this. This is my only chance.
Huh.
The final log that Chihiro Morimura left on the UFO. She speaks at length on Operation Aegis. Her goal is that he and she would ultimately survive, even at the cost of humanity's future. The question is, who is he?
I just assumed she was talking about Tetsuya Ida there. But maybe not. Because that was who she was talking about before. Ida didn't make it back.
Ever since the battle that ended with the Sentinels infected, Miss Morimura has been pushing this operation as one of its fiercest supporters.
Okay.
Oh. That's puzzling. There's a log registered under my name. As far as I know, I've never recorded anything like this.
Uh-oh.
Renya Gouto speaking.
Oh!
Did you confirm receipt of payment? Then I'm sure you can see to the details. Am I clear? I want her dead. Any means necessary. Execute her. And stop the project. That's not my problem. It's in your hands now. Do you realize what'll happen if her project gets approved? It could ruin everything we've worked for. You know what must be done. Kill Chihiro Morimura.
Was that really me? That man was a Shikishima executive from the year 2188. Is that supposed to be my future? Seems like a private communications log. The other person on the line wasn't recorded. But it's clear enough what they're talking about. That was an assassination order on Chihiro Morimura. Which I seem to have called in.
Oh, man. Wow, okay. There is a lot to think about there. So he's a Shikishima executive in the far future. Why would he be calling a hit on Chihiro? Is it just because he's got to the top of the corporate ladder and doesn't want her undoing things? Surely not. That's too simple. Who's he speaking to? Obviously, very deliberately not showing who he's on the phone with. We know, obviously, Sekigahara woke up next to a dead Chihiro. Could potentially be the clone, I guess, or the real one. And also could potentially be his doing or not. It might be a setup. Someone knocks them both out, or kills her, knocks him out, teleports them both, leaves him there with the gun, and he thinks he did it. But why would Renya grow up to have those objectives? Which Chihiro was it? Who was he talking to? Oh, so much, so much. Let's have a look at these mystery files then. Renya Gouto comes from the future, the destroyed world of 2065. With calm and patience, he brings the Sentinel pilots together, always keeping an eye on their ultimate goal. He acts as a leader to the other students. 2188, CEO of the large conglomerate Shikishima. Chihiro. She is... Wait, what's this one called? It's just Chihiro. There's Chihiro, there's Ms. Morimura, and there's woman who looks like Ms. Morimura. She is Chihiro Morimura's clone, created from the compatibility experiment. Upon birth, her original memories were sealed by Morimura, and she lived a normal life as Miura's little sister. Right, yes. However, once Renya Gouto saw Morimura's experiment log from March 2nd, he abducted her from the Miura house and awakened Morimura's sealed memories. Right, okay. Gouto is also the one who prepared her kindergartner outfit. Okay, so that's the timeline there. I hadn't got that in my head correctly. So Morimura was testing compatibility stuff on her, whether she could make her clone able to use the time travel gates. I don't think we know the purpose of why she would want to make a clone that could use the time travel gates, but I'm sure we will find out eventually, unless I missed something already. And then, so he saw the logs, because we were working backwards there, so that was a few weeks, the last scene there was a few weeks before the other thing. So he saw the logs, travelled to the 40s, abducted her, awakened the memories, and then took her to the 60s, was it? When he was in that destroyed city? The 2060s? Waiting for a transport to the 80s or something? Oh god, I don't know. And then we know she's in that final battle, because wasn't she the last battle we did? I think we saw her at the end of it. The Aegis System, a terminal's self-defense system. When the Aegis System is activated, the Kaijuu won't be able to invade a specific range around it. It takes 2 minutes for the system to activate. Why is that new? I swear we already knew that. The compatible, those with the capacity to control the gates, sentinels, and mainframe. In an experiment to see if she could transfer her compatibility onto her clone, Morimura used her data, which she had saved in Sector 0, to create her clone. However, this experiment failed to establish compatibility. Do we know what Sector 0 is? I'm not sure. The Sentinels were ready for use after the 2104 Kaijuu invasion. The first time they were actually used in battle was 2064. So that battle where the virus was being spread was actually the first time they were used. That's interesting. That's new information, I'm pretty sure. Huh. Is that it? That is it. Okay. So let's have a look here. So the long distance transmission was the very first one. Then that house restoration thing. Then the next one is the dream. I mean, with these ones in between, obviously. In the spaceship. Then the next one's that. With the older version of Juro. Then it shoes... Oh, it's 2025. That was where that was. Then it shoes time in 2025 with Tommy. And then that one. Okay, okay. Whew. Surprised that one's so early. So this one, yeah. On the precipice of the Kaijuu invasion, Chihiro Morimura and Tetsuya Ida are discussing the fate of the world when they're interrupted by A. Sekigahara. Rather than confront Morimura directly, Sekigahara asks Ida about Operation Aegis, expressing doubts about the Sentinel system updates he had been asked to do. That was on the eve of the 2064 battle, and then when the 2064 battle took place, the Sentinels started going haywire, and they believed it was coming from A's. And they transported the Sentinels throughout time to save them. And then that was when he was transmitted to the underground research facility, right? I don't think I'd realised that was right after that. Huh. And then shortly after, he's questioning Okino. This is... Oh, man. We've got a lot of this stuff unlocked now. And then it's at that point that Chihiro finds Renya and objects. A lot of Iori stuff after that. And it's not until all of that is already done that Yuki starts getting hired to do an investigation. Huh. Man, this is... I'm very glad this exists. It's definitely piecing a couple of bits together for me. We're gonna have to take a full look through this whole thing once the game is done, and really clear everything up. It's only after all of that that is when Miura's story begins. That makes sense. Whole load of question marks. And it's only after all of that's happened that Megumi first meets Fluffy. Oh, man. Okay, okay. You know what? There's so much of this. Interesting that that's like... There's all of this, and then just this one thing here about Ryoko finding Yuri in the office. And then a whole load more question marks, and then that's when he wakes up in the alley. Okay. So that is way down the timeline for A. This is after the memories are gone, after he met the Android version. Iori Fuyusaka and Chihiro Morimura have the same biometric ID, but if it's a clone, that's not necessarily the same person. And then the final battle begins. So this Lost Memories is the last thing we have before the final battle. Ton of question marks. The battle begins, and then a ton of question marks. Okay. Well. That sure was a lot. Oh, and now he's locked until protagonists with story progress at 80% or over. Everyone else? What? That is quite the requirement. What was the one for you? You need 80% or over 8 out of the 13. But you obviously can't count him, so that's 8 out of 12. And you can't count him. So it's 8 out of 11. So there's only 3 people that don't... Oh, man. I don't even see why... I mean, I guess we got some good info out of that, I suppose. But, like, that's pretty harsh to unlock him, let you do the prologue, and then say you have to get 80% on every other character to continue. That's just mean. That is very mean. Okay, who should we do? Yuki, it's been a while. What's up?
All right.